Hi, I'm Joe.
And I'm James.
And this is the Decahedron RPG Podcast. Hi, James.
Hey, Joe.
Wow, it's been like a month since we sat down together. It's probably going to feel a little shorter for the listeners because last time we recorded that ended up being a two-parter. But yeah, between my other job and your family stuff and just life in general, we haven't gotten to sit down in a while. So I hope things have been well for you.
Some things have changed, but nothing major. Life goes on.
Before we get into it, let me do a couple of administrative announcements. The first one is that the way we record is a thing called Zencastr, and they've changed the way they do things, and I don't blame them. I mean, we've been using them for free. They haven't made a dime off us, and so they're probably starting to feel that pinch financially, and so they're starting to change the way they do things. The way it affects us is that we only have 2 hours of recording every month. I think if we keep the episode short, we should be okay, but that's all we have, and if that starts to run into a problem, we're going to have to look for an alternative. The reason I like Zencastr is that after we record, because again, we're like 1,000 miles apart on the globe. And so it's a way for us to do it online, brings us together and lets us record. And when we record, after we're done, it gives me two separate files. It gives me the file from your mic and the file from my mic. That just works in my editing software a whole lot better. And I like it a lot. The other things I've looked at don't do that. The exception being Zoom. Zoom, of course, has a 40-minute time limit per recording. So 6 of one, half dozen the other. Also, the sound quality on Zoom is not as good as it is through Zencastr. So hopefully that won't run into a problem. But if it does, if any of our listeners know a better solution, shout it out.
And how much are we talking to use their pay version?
I don't know. I try to put as little money into the podcast as possible. That way I never ask for money. This isn't a podcast where we ever say, hey, support our Patreon, or, join us a subscriber level, or we don't run ads and stuff like that. And I want to keep it that way. The second announcement is I'm looking for a new host. James, you're fired. No, not for the podcast. It's for another project. I don't want to say too much about it right now, but if you think you might be interested, contact me. All their ways are in the show notes. I do want it to be a gamer with some experience in gaming. If you're interested, contact me. That's it for the announcement. So what's our topic this week, James?
Playing the opposite sex.
Playing the opposite sex. This is a me topic, not a you topic, which is weird that I had you announce it because our normal thing is to announce our own topics. But I picked this one because this is actually something that's more divisive than I thought it would be. I thought it was a no-brainer that when you sit down at a table, you can play anything you want. But some people are very adamant that you should not play, like a guy shouldn't play a female character and vice versa. So I want to know your thoughts on that before I give mine.
I don't have a problem with either sex playing the other as long as they do a reasonable job on it. But I'm going to go, for me, it's just a no-go. I've tried to understand girls, women, ladies, whatever you want to say, over a long time, and I still can't understand them. I can't play the opposite sex in a believable way.
I'm going to agree with your general principle and disagree with the personal experience. I firmly believe that anyone should be able to play anything that fits into the game world. That's possible. And I throw that in there so next time we play, you don't say, I want to play a dragon in my human-only campaign, because that wouldn't fit in. And likewise, if you, for whatever reason, you want to play a historically accurate, Revolutionary War campaign, and you want to keep it with Revolutionary War soldiers for whatever reason, I could see you limiting the genders on that. Although I think it's more fun sometimes to bend history and just let the players do what they want to do. I have no problems with people playing any sex character that they want. I will echo that, yes, I agree. And all the time that we've ever played together, I have never known you to play a female character. Never. As for me, I was actually wondering if this is for my GMing experience, because as a GM, you need to run male NPCs and you need to run female NPCs and elf PCs and dwarf PCs, everything. So it's very natural for me to play a female NPC. And when I'm playing as a player, I decide which gender fits my concept of the character the best. In previous episodes, I've talked about my first GURPS character who had the disadvantages of pacifism and can't lie. That was a female character. When we talked before about my favorite character ever, which was my Gamma World character, that one's kind of a wishy-washy one because that was a shape-changing character. And so it's race, animal form, gender, and all that. That was very fluid depending on the situation. But its default shape in the party was a human female, if I remember right. That was a long time ago. But of course, I play a lot of male. Okay, like I said, when I sit down to make a character, it's what would fit best. It's like when I used to GM a long time ago. I mean, I still GM. But a long time ago, I realized that most of my NPCs were by default male, unless I did something else. I mean, there was some reason for it not to be. Like the queen would be. So what I started doing, and I still do to this day, is whenever I'm making NPC, I roll a die. On an odd, it's male. On an even, it's female. Unless, again, there's a certain reason. If, you're in a cult of priestesses, it's going to be female. If you're in a cult of only priests, it's going to be male. But whatever. Okay, so that's for me personally. The other thing you said was people playing it well. I think that goes with any character, right? I mean, if you can't play a dwarf, don't play a dwarf. If you can't play a female, don't play a female. If you can't play a elf, don't play an elf, right?
Right.
I think we covered this topic.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you want?
When I do play with people, I want them to have some understanding of their character. And male, female, it doesn't matter, even just the race or the classes. You want to play your character well and bring all of this into one focus. Is that the best way to say it?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
I'm going to ask you another question. What about when you play video games?
I tend to stay with the male. There's only been maybe one game that I did female, and it just looked better than the man, and that's how I'm going to say it.
When I do a video game, I will tend to use a female character because 90% of the time in a game, unless it's a first person, you're looking through the character's eyes and you don't see the character. But when it's that third person, like over the head camera view, you're looking at your character 100% of the time and all the other characters coming out. And I'm a straight dude. I would rather watch a female character 100% of the time than a male character. So that's the one I pick. But that's me. We're not going to do the end of episode questions anymore because what I would find is we would record the episode up to the full length and then we'd ask the question and that would go almost another full length. So maybe like once every month or month and a half, 2 months, whatever, we will have a special episode that's only us answering questions like that. So that's all we have this week. I'll see you next week, James. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Joseph. And audience, please come back and thank you for listening to us.
Yeah, thanks a lot for listening. And please let us know how you feel about opposite gender characters. Are you okay with it? Are you opposed to it? How often do you play a character that's flipped from whatever you are? That's it. Thanks for listening. Please send us the feedback. All the methods are in the outro that you're about to hear. Until next week, bye.
Bye, all.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Decahedron RPG Cast. We'd love to hear from you. You can leave us a voice message by calling 562-774-2278. That's 562-RPG-CAST. Or by visiting sayhi.chat/Decahedron. You can also email us at feedback@decahedron.com. Links are in the show notes. For more information, visit decahedron.com. Remember that Decahedron is spelled with a K. Music is by Kevin MacLeod. Logos by Design Cat. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, keep those dice rolling.